The AI for Good Global Summit, convened by ITU, recognizes the joint responsibility of governments, the private sector, United Nations agencies, academia and others to ensure AI reaches its full potential while preventing and mitigating harms.
And it's a moment that calls for action. And today I'm calling on each of you to use this summit to help the world to better understand what kinds of regulations, what kinds of guardrails we need to put in place right now. So together, let's make it innovative, let's make it safe, and let's make it responsible for all. Thank you very much.
Welcome to AI for Good, the leading action-oriented, global and inclusive United Nations platform on AI. Organized by ITU, in partnership with 40 UN sister organizations, and co-convened with Switzerland. The goal of AI for Good is to identify practical applications of AI to advance the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and scale those solutions for global impact. In today's session, we're counting on you to use the live video wall feature to ask questions and post comments to help create an engaging discussion. We encourage you to stay until the end to chat, connect, ask questions, and network with our distinguished panelists and world-class AI experts in the neural network. It is now time to kick off the session and welcome our first speaker. The floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. Welcome to today's workshop. A very good day to everyone, and thank you for joining us. Welcome to AI for Good's workshop, specializing large language models for telecom networks. My name is Shexiu Huang from ITU, the International Telecommunication Union. Today, we are excited to host this workshop titled Specializing Large Language Models from Telecom Networks. As we gather here today, it's essential to recognize the transformative power of LLMs. These sophisticated language models have revolutionized text generation, comprehension, and interaction, ushering in a new era of AI innovation. While LLMs have made significant strides across various sectors, their integration into the telecommunications industry has been somewhat limited. However, this landscape is evolving rapidly as researchers explore the untapped potential of LLMs within this domain. As always, we are counting on you to help create an engaging discussion. If you have any questions, please type them on the video wall in the chat box. And during when the speaker is presenting, or during the Q&A session right after the talk. Before officially kicking off the session, I would like to introduce our esteemed speakers, Antonia de Monica, a senior researcher from Huawei, and my colleague Vishnu, who will be taking charge of the Q&A session. Without further ado, I would like to pass the baton to Vishnu. The floor is yours, and also our speaker, Antonio de Monica. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Antonio, please go ahead.
Thank you, Shexiu. Thank you, Vishnu. So I will share my screen. Okay, so I hope you can see the slide that I prepared to introduce you this challenge on specializing large language model for telecom network. So this is the outline. I will go briefly through an introduction to let you understand what are the motivation for this challenge. And from a network perspective, the idea of using large language model for network automation. Then I will describe the problem of this challenge, the type of data that we make available, and the requirement for the participant. And finally, I will conclude discussing the plan for the challenge, the timeline, and prices. Okay. So as you may know, large language model has emerged recently as a transformative force, which is revolutionizing many fields beyond natural language processing. And actually, in the telecom industry, researchers are looking at the capability of LLM to enhance the network. So from this perspective, there are several use cases which appear, and in this paper here on the right side, you can see some of the most interesting related to this evolution. So network anomaly resolution, which could leverage the vast number of troubleshooting tickets which are available at the operator to learn how a network operator can identify problems and resolve them. 3G GPP or standards, let's say specification comprehension. So incorporate the vast standard technical documents, learn them, process them to support the daily work of engineers. And finally, network modeling. So use domain knowledge, specific domain knowledge to mathematically model the relation between multiple parameter network KPIs. So use LLM to fill the gap between, let's say, digital twin and the actual network operation and deployment. So let's have a look in particular to this. So there is a trend for the operator, for the ecosystem, telecom ecosystem, to make the network more automatic, okay, to react, to observe, and optimize its parameter through in real time, let's say. Okay, currently there is some kind of sort of intelligence, partial intelligence in the network, but in the future, mobile network operator want to create a full intelligence system, okay? And different operator may have a different target timeline perspective related to this, but it is a key requirement to reduce cost and make the network more efficient, more capable, okay? In particular, why this is challenging is because there are very different requirements from the network perspective, okay? There are network today is capable of offering different type of services, not only video streaming, but also to connect a multitude of objects like smartwatch, smart object, to operate an industry, a factory through mobile network. And these different requirements are only part of the problem. There is also different type of available data depending on the type of network, depending on the capability of the network to measure what is happening, and also different configuration are related to different configuration parameter, which have to be understood by the network and optimized. So we need to also not only something which is capable to observe, but also to plan and reconfigure the network. And another thing is that after that you have actually decide how to reconfigure the network. Today, the network changes, these configuration changing are managed by frontline engineers. So engineer very expert of, they know very well how the network is working, and they operate on the fields, and they modify the network such that the network is working fine in a good way, and adapt to the services and to the requirement of the system. However, today network are not fully optimized, as I was saying before. There is a margin to improve the performance, the cost efficiency, but let's say this is complicated because these frontline engineers, which are responsible of the correct behavior of the network, maybe they are not researchers, they are not experts about AI. So there is a gap between the capability of a researcher to explain what AI would do to the network, and the fact that the engineer will not take decisions which may affect the network performance. Okay, so often when researchers come up with best model which would optimize greatly how a network could operate. Then at the end of the day, this large modification with results with minor changes in the network because of the lack of explainability. Okay. And what we believe is that a large language model can bridge the gap between the engineer and the researcher in terms of required technical expertise. Okay, but how to do this? How to understand how much a large language model is capable in terms of knowledge of a telecom network, and how then a large language model can help network providers to improve the operation of the network. So the first thing that we have done in my team is to create a data set capable of measuring the accuracy in the telecom knowledge for a large language model. So in this data set actually is an automated pipeline which has taken as input different documents related to telecom from a research perspective, from standards perspective, even lexicon, acronyms, and so on. And then we use this data, we cleaned it, and then we have two LLM agents, one who generated question and another who validate the question. So to create multiple choice question capable to test a large language model accuracy. Okay, so we had human in the loop to classify the question, to validate further the question, to ensure that the question generated was correct with respect to what were their target. We had clustering, post-processing functionalities, allowing us to detect whether a question was duplicated on another question. And then we end up with a large data set composed by 10,000 multiple choice questions with the format that you can see here. So a question, different options, and the correct answer, and the explanation why that answer is correct. And also a label which categorize the type of question with respect to this family of sources data. Okay. So after this, we could actually measure the knowledge of telecom in telecom perspective of language, large language model. What you observe is that GPT-4, for instance, constantly outperform GPT-3 around different categories, as you can see here. And actually, the performance in many cases are better than what a general engineer can answer to this question. Okay, and LLM a very good capability when looking at the overall lexicon, acronyms, understanding of terms, but question related to the standard, instead the performance are not good enough to be deployed LLM in a real network. We need better LLM capable of answering to this standard specific telecom specific question. Okay, so in this sense, we then developed a RAG, retrieval augmented generation, which is one of the well-known system to improve the capability of a large language model to do a given task. In this sense, RAG provide the context, like give the information to support the LLM to answer to a given task. Look inside the corpus of document and try to find in which document the information can be retrieved to support the LLM in answering the task that has been asked by a given user. Okay. So we actually design a RAG specifically defined for to handle 3GPP standard in general, I would say. And in particular, in this telco RAG, we have the design hyperparameter optimization, query augmented capability, so extend the query to provide more additional information, rephrase it, etc. Actually, also enhancing the usage of the memory while saving and storing and processing document. And finally, we included prompt engineering in this pipeline, where prompt engineering is another fundamental way to improve an LLM capability to understand what is the problem and answer to the specific task. Okay, what we observed is that this RAG, specialized for telecom operation, brought to us 6.6% of improvement in terms of accuracy when an LLM was asked a standard specific question with respect to benchmark RAG implementation, and around 50% of accuracy gain we compared to a model without RAG. So it is very promising, but we are asking you to do better, to help us to improve further the capability of an LLM or the RAG, prompt engineering, etc. in this context. Okay, so what is the specific task here that we are looking for solving? So we are going to have two different models. One is Falcon 7B. So Falcon is an open source model developed in the Emirates. And what we are asking you is to work on Falcon to enhance its capability to the question related to the standard documents that are part of a Tele-Q&A, this dataset that we develop, and develop new solutions, either combining existing method as the RAG model that we develop and prompt engineering, or designing a new pipeline. Okay, and then the other task is related to FI2. So it's a different model, a smaller one. We don't talk anymore about a large language model, but a small large language model, and to do the same approach. Let's say the main difference between these two tasks is that FI2 is pretty smaller than Falcon. So we hope that some of the participants can actually try also to fine-tune FI2 related to improve its performance. We want to understand whether fine-tuning is beneficial and how much. And also because different models actually have different requirements. They will, when you interface and try to optimize them with respect to a given task, there are different challenges that they raise, and we want to look at both smaller and larger language model in this sense. Let's say from a general perspective, the challenges are pretty complex. First of all, because the questions are complicated, let's say very specific, telecom domain specific, because a large language model produces fabrication and hallucination, and because the explainability, the lack of explainability, sometimes they don't really, I mean, it's hard to make them explain why they've chosen a given answer, why they have realize a given task in a specific way. Okay, so one thing that is how to evaluate the capability of this model to answer to this question is accuracy metric. Okay, this has to be clear for all of you. I think the dataset is very powerful for this problem because it makes simple the evaluation of this telecom knowledge capability. Since we have let's say multiple choice question with the different choice, with one of the choice being the correct one, we can easily evaluate whether the question provided by, the answer provided by your model are correct or not. Okay, so how to do this? First of all, we will provide you 1,827 multiple choice questions related to standards, in particular to do two distinct categories: standard overview, so related to question which summarize, let's say, the progress of the different standards. Okay, different standards, 3GPP, for instance, working release. So every few years they come up with a new release, and there are these documents which overview, provide general description of the advance on an overview. And then there are questions coming from specification, more technical questions with the practical implementation of telecommunication aspect. Okay, these 1,827 multiple choice questions are then divided into two sets: 1,461, which compose, let's say, your trends test, and 366 questions, which is a test set. So you can use this 1,461 to, let's say, create your model, improve it. No problem. You have the correct answer for each of them. So it's something that you can exploit while designing the appropriate system. But then for the 366 question that compose the text set, you will not have the correct answer, not the related explanation. Okay, so for this one, you will just have to submit let's say the answer provided related to this question and provided by your model, and we evaluate your model based on the accuracy, so the fraction of correct answer provided by your model. Okay, so at the later stage, we will provide 2,000 additional multiple choice questions for the final private leaderboard. So what we are telling you, you should not overfit on this question, no? Because otherwise you will fail in the final test. So another thing which is very important to, let's say, to create your pipeline is that in addition to the multiple choice question, we will provide you a supporting corpus of documents that you can use to enhance the accuracy of your model on the multiple choice question. In particular, there are more than 500 documents that can be used by a RAG to provide the large language model the context to answer the telecom question in the dataset, or you can use for other solution, like for instance, you can try to use them to fine-tune FITU. Okay. So another thing that we are going to provide you is a baseline RAG implementation. So it is telco RAG that I've talked before. So you can access to it in our Git. You can download it, test it, in let's say, take it as a benchmark, an initial benchmark on which to work and improve on, or you can design a fully new pipeline. In this platform, in this repository here, you will find also a collab to run telco RAG on FITU. Okay. An example also of prompt engineering for FITU is available in this paper. So you will see what is the way in which you should ask the question to FITU to get a good answer in the answer that we are looking for. Okay. One last very important thing is that we are setting up a computational platform to use Falcon on Amazon server. So we have there is a form to fill to request resources to run Falcon. So I invite you to fill this form such that we receive your request. So there is obviously resources are limited, so we will provide them in a first come first served policy. However, first of all, there are probably not enough computational resources for everyone. And let's say this is not a finalized process yet. So what I invite you is if you have enough computational resources, if you have a dedicated server, start to work on Falcon or FITU or both as you wish. If you don't know, if you want just to use maybe the GPU on your laptop or your PC, start to work on FITU. And then when we give you the access to the key to access to these additional computational resources, you could move to Falcon, I think, with the minimum effort. Okay. So regarding the solution requirement, okay, as I was saying before, we will evaluate your submission using the accuracy that will tell us the percentage of correctly provided answer in the test set. So what we are going to ask you is to submit a CSV with this format, 3 column, okay, the question ID, the answer that you provide, and the task, whether you have used the Falcon or FITU. Okay, pay attention that so in addition to the 300 and something question related to the test set, so we have included, as in the submission example, the 2,000 additional questions related to the final test set for the private leaderboard. For those 2,000 questions, obviously you are not able to provide already an answer, so you can put as a answer ID just 0 for all of them. They will not be evaluated in the first in the public leaderboard. Okay, so this is something clear. the submission need to include answer only for the 300 test multiple choice question and the related task. While at the second stage, you will need also to answer to the additional 2000 questions, okay, for the private leaderboard, okay? So yes, this is we already said. So yes, as I was saying, for the question ID from 10,000 to 12,000, so which are the last 2,000 ID, please put 0 in the first stage of the competition. Additional rules. Okay. So first of all, for all using Falcon, you should not use fine tuning. Okay, to make this the same for everyone. Okay. While fine-tuning is available for the participant that would like to work on F2. Another very important thing is that when you design the RAG, your RAG, when you improve your our telco RAG or design a fully RAG model from scratch, you should not use the option of the question to retrieve the correct document. Okay, this would be a kind of cheating. So we are asking you to use only the question to attempt to retrieve the correct document that can be used to provide the context to the large language model. And if you, let's say, don't follow any of these rules, then your submission will be penalized in the evaluation stage. Okay. Okay. Finally, I want to conclude this discussing the overall plan. So today we are here, the webinar. So tomorrow we start the challenge. Okay, there is going to be a bit more than 2 months for you to work on the competition. So at the end of this competition, we will have a private leaderboard, as we were saying, telling us, I mean, what are the score of your model. What we would like is not only you to work on the model and having great enhancing the accuracy of the model, but what we want is also that you are able to present us what your model has been done, what are the innovation that you have done, how you have designed it. And for this, we are asking you to prepare a paper, a conference paper. So this, I think, it's a very good opportunity for the PhD student and the postdoc that are, or the, let's say, master research student that are among you or other researcher. So, and then you will submit a paper for a workshop in IEEE Globcom. We will have an acceptance notification in September. And based on both the quality of your proposal in terms of accuracy, the model that we will check whether you have followed our guideline, and the quality of the paper that you have written to explain let's say, the solution that you have designed, will decide winner, and then there will be an award ceremony in Globcom, okay, at the end of the year in South Africa. Being Globcom one, I mean, I would say the top mobile network conference in our domain. Okay. So obviously this deadline that on the right side are still tentative. They will be fixed in the next few weeks. But what is important, mainly important for you, is that you need to take into account that the competition is open for around 2 months. Okay, regarding prices. Okay, so what we have secured for now are 6 prices. Okay, for each of composing, let's say, in three prices for each of the tasks. You have 1,500 euro for the first place of both tasks. Okay, so for each of them, obviously. Same then for the second place, 1,000 euro for F2 and 1,000 euro for the second participant for Falcon, and then 500 euro for F2 and Falcon. Okay, we're going to have internship opportunity also on Huawei, and since we have several sponsors that are willing to participate to this, actually in the following week, these prices can grow up. We're still looking whether this is going to be in terms of monetary prices or maybe other type of gadget or technology devices. But yes, I'm confident that we'll actually at the end we can offer even more than this. Okay, so with this I conclude my presentation, and I open to discuss with you for any question.
Thank you very much, Antonio. That's a really attractive competition. Thank you very much for coordinating this one. There is a question which talks about whether to fine-tune both the models, I mean, Phi2 as well as Falcon. I mean, the question is, Ronnie is asking, does this mean we are supposed to fine-tune both models and run inference for both? I think we discussed this, but can you please
yes, clarify.
please explain again? Yeah.
Thanks, Vishnu, and thanks, Ronnie, for the question. So these are two independent tasks, okay? Obviously, you can learn from each of them to improve. You can participate to only one of the two or both of them. There is no constraint on this, okay? Regarding the fine-tuning, what we want is that you don't do fine-tune on Falcon, okay? But you can do fine-tune on Phi2. Okay, this doesn't mean that using fine tuning is the best option for Phi2, and that fine tuning will make your model the best in terms of accuracy. But it is an open possibility. You can use fine tuning, you can use RAG, you can use prompt engineering, you can optimize the optimize the parameter of the models. There are different axes of research. We are giving you options, some of them with already implemented pipeline that you can take from our GitHub and work on and to improve it. But the rules are that you don't use the yes, as I say here, you don't use fine tuning for Falcon. You can use fine tune only for Phi2. I hope this clarified the question.
Thank you very much, Antonio. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. While we wait for more questions, let me ask. You mentioned that the participant should not fine tune Falcon. Why is it so?
Okay, so so first of all, because we believe that larger model, let's say, will be are harder to fine tune, let's say in general, and Falcon, we take it as an example for a large model, okay, and then because we want to look at different perspective, okay. So for Falcon, we are more interested on different, let's say, optimization or venue. Whether for Phi2, I think it's a relatively compact model, and fine-tuning it is more possible for a larger number of the participants. I hope this is clear.
Thank you very much, Antonio. Let me see for other questions. Wissam is asking, telco PDFs data are just knowledge of data in form of text. Does it include tables, reports, and images? Well, I added images, but figures, tables, reports. That's a good question, Wissam. In fact, I had the same question. So, Antonio, the standards documents that you give, are they parsed just for the text, or do you also look at tables or figures or other type of information?
Yes, so there are in this document. Yes, obviously there are tables and figures, but I mean, for my experience is that LLM are not very good at processing and let's say figure it's something else, but not even tables, right? So you cannot use table for figure for sure. I mean, it would be complicated for you to use it if you manage to, yeah. But I think it's another problem. And yeah, in the document there will be both text and figure and tables. Yes. But the question are not going to be explicitly related to the figures, that for sure.
Got it. Okay, thank you very much. Sami is asking, can we use open source data set from external resources to train our model? Open source data set? Okay, I believe the standards documents that I think, I believe Antonio also showed the additional 3GPP documents.
Yes.
There is a corpus of 554 3GPP documents. So
yes.
yeah, so yes, Sami,
I would
if
suggest,
you like, Antonio, can they use additional data in addition to that open source data set?
I think it would be better for fairness, let's say, that everyone use the same document, right? To let's say, to improve, to create your pipeline, your model. So I think you have here a lot of documents to explore, to exploit. So let's everyone work on the same document, please.
Cool. Thank you very much. So that is clear. Kailash is asking, why only limit to 2 models? All right, there are others released have good performance for small models.
Yes.
So yeah, Antonio, why only 2?
Yes. So I mean, I think again here it's a matter of allowing a fair evaluation and comparison between what you are doing. Okay, what we are interested here is not to compare what GPT-4 is better or worse than Llama 7B or whatever. What we are interested is to explore and research new functionalities, new ideas that can be used for any model. Okay, and then we want to compare this innovation in a fair way. So if obviously if someone working on let's say for instance V2 and then another one is working on a V3, it's normal that one of them maybe will beat the one working on V3 likely will beat the one using V2, even if the idea of the participant using V2 are more interesting. So that's something that we don't want, and I hope it is clear then why we only focus on these 2 models.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think you mentioned about the different techniques to be used. For example, prompt engineering, fine tuning, prompt engineering, RAG, and fine tuning for Py2. So I
Yes.
think that techniques are what you focus upon. All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's the one. Coca is asking, when running locally, there is some constraint on resources. I don't understand. When running locally, there is some constraint on what resources we are using.
No.
So I believe that's also related to, yeah.
No, sorry, Vishnu, if I interrupt. Yes, what I want to say one thing related to the axis. Yes, I think also optimization of the other parameter could be a good venue. So understanding chunk size, token length, all these aspects of the how to measure the let's say the proximity in terms of information of the query and document in the 3GPP specification. These are all venues where you can work also. And regarding the other question, if you, I understand that, I mean, from my perspective, there is no difference if there is someone using more computational power and another with less computational power. I understand that maybe one of the two will be able to test or run the model faster, but at the end of the day, what I'm interested is in the idea. So you can maybe run it faster, but if the one that has run it, let's say, takes more time, come with a better idea, better accuracy, that's the important thing. So if you have your local server, use it how much resource you have. There is no constraint on that.
Thank you so much, Antonio. Krishna is asking, what are the constraints on composition of team? How many members? Do they all have to be students? I think that is a simple question. We don't have a constraint. But Antonio, what is your opinion?
Yeah, I agree. I think I always like team working, but this is a personal. I like to work in a team, but it's a personal, let's say, point of view. Okay, if instead you are someone who likes a big challenge and likes to work on his own, because maybe trust more on its own idea and so on. Both options are available. You can make your team as big as you wish. To create new idea and test it. Everything is from this perspective, no problems. I think also, yes, having a diversification, also people with different experience, student and PhD or a postdoc together, I think can make the things more interesting for your perspective. Also because there is we would like you to prepare this conference paper that, as I was saying, submitted to IEEE workshop. So it has people maybe with also good experience, not only on testing and design algorithm, but also to write good paper. I think this is also part of the work.
Thank you very much, Antonio. Then we have a greedy approach. Can the same team win both?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. But again, so first of all, yes, if you think that you can work on both the competition in this timeline, you are definitely, let's say, invited to do that. But again, I want you to remember that let's say the winners will be not evaluated only on the score, the accuracy, but also on the capability of the winning team to present its code in a readable way, and the innovation of the solution through this conference paper. Okay, so in a short document, 4 pages, 6 pages, describing the innovation. This is it has to be readable, it has to be clear, so such that other people can reuse your idea and push the research, the ecosystem, all the people working on this problem to take advantage of what you have realized. What is exactly the same as we are doing with you. So we are giving you a benchmark for a RAG, benchmark for a question, etc., etc. Then we want your solution to push innovation for other people. So in this, to do this, we'll ask you to make a clear understanding of what has been your innovation.
Great. Thank you so much. There is a question on frameworks. Yes, there are many new frameworks. You can actually parse standards documents unstructured, LangChain. There is several such frameworks. Do you have a restriction or preference, Antonio, on which
No,
frameworks
I
can be
don't have.
used?
I think openness is a good thing from my perspective. When you can use open model, let's say open framework, it's better. But if you think that one tool is better than another, or you have an idea for a given tool, I mean, you should go follow your instinct from this perspective. And again, the ecosystem and the solution are evolving. There is so much research all the time that I cannot prevent you to use some new idea coming out from available on Hugging Face or published by some recent research. That will
Thank
help
you so
also
much.
us to know this or the other participant. And also again, you can one good thing with Zindi and so on is that you can also actually also discuss among you what you have tested. Yes, collaborate even across even in this competition. I mean, exchange ideas.
Right. Yeah, I think community, there is a good amount of community support. Thank you so much. Yes, so there is a question asking whether you would sponsor physically to travel to the conference. So I think, Sami, that's an interesting question. I would think that this depends upon the contribution to the paper, but I will ask Antonio. Antonio,
Yes,
would you? Yeah, yeah.
So I think so. We have budget for it, okay, and it's definitely possible. In this sense, what I would like to do, let's say, is that I will at a later stage, based on let's say on the participant situation, let's say, based whether it is. Okay, we can facilitate this, I think. Okay, obviously if the paper is accepted, so it means if you have done a good innovation in your competition and presented it in a good way, we can definitely help you to come to the conference.
Right. Thank you so much. So I believe it points to how well we do on the modeling part, Sami. There is also a question from Sami on should there be separate papers or combine the result in one paper? I believe that also depends upon the type of results. But Antonio, would that be one paper or two papers?
I think you can use one paper. No need. If you participate to both the task, you can. I think you can do one paper is enough. But it's open on the participant. If you want to submit two papers because you think that the explanation would be more clear, or that you believe that one of the it's better to highlight what you have done in this way, there are no constraints. But one paper is enough, I would say.
Great. So there is nothing yet new questions. So let me fire some of mine. The Antonio, what about the code? Do you look at the repositories? Should the participants submit some repositories, or what is the do you evaluate the code at all?
Yes. So definitely we will evaluate the code, but not the code of everyone. Okay, it will be, I guess, too much work. Okay, I invite you for sure to publish your code in your own repository, because I think this is important for your own career, for your own and also for the ecosystem. Okay. Then from our perspective, we will evaluate, we have a look at the code of the best solution in terms of, from our perspective, in terms of accuracy, in terms of innovation, to be sure that, in particular, to be sure that the code, let's say, is sufficiently clear, but also because we want to be sure that the participants have followed the rules that I mentioned before, right? So again, to provide a fair evaluation. If someone is submitting an accuracy that it output with GPT-4, we will find out. Or if you have fine-tuned, or I mean, you find a way to overfit on our private leaderboard, we also find out.
Very good. Yeah, thank you so much. There is nothing yet in the question, so that means that I can ask another of mine. Maybe the domain knowledge. So somebody maybe standards experts. For example, I see that you're using release 17 descriptions. I think some participants may be quite domain experts. Does that matter at all, or do you think it doesn't really play any role here?
This is a very good question, Vishnu. I think I don't know the answer. I think, let's say, it matter more on the evaluation side, okay? To understand whether the model design is doing a good work. Maybe in general, even beyond this competition, yes, you may be an expert, you can understand better. But I don't think you need to be a telecom expert to participate to this challenge at all. I think it's interesting for telecom people, but it's also interesting for machine learning people, to people that are starting to work on this topic, because I think we give everyone a starting point to work on. With the document, with the telco RAG, with an implementation with FI2. So yes, I think you after maybe even after 1 week of work, you will already able to submit. I mean, even less maybe to test. You can already start in testing if what is the accuracy of FI2 with our telco RAG, and then quickly. And then try to improve that. But the same porting going from FI2 to Falcon also will be very quick. And then you can decide whether to focus, and you think, okay, you can read the paper and think, okay, I have an idea about how to improve telco RAG. They should use this parameter or this metric, etc. And then I think quickly modify it and improve it, instead of designing everything from scratch.
Thank you. Let me ask about baseline results. In fact, a very interesting part of your presentation was the telco RAG baseline reference solution. And I think among that, the most interesting part was that you had Colab compatible. So you can actually download it and run it. It includes a Colab to run. So thank you so much. I think that's really useful to the community that we work with. Can I ask you a question about the baseline result? So would you publish what you have achieved so far, or is that a secret? So regarding the accuracy, what is it that your team has achieved so far, or is that something which is hidden?
I can publish this, but I will let the participants some time to work on their own without focusing so much on what we have already achieved.
Very good. Yeah, thank you so much for setting that bar. I'm sure our participants are all pumped up, very enthusiastic. But I want to thank you again. I think this kind of package with a complete set of resources are what is the best suited for our student part community that we work with, as well as universities, researchers, and you have both Falcon as well as V2 to work with. I think there is a very level playing field. Thank you so much. That's Shuzu. Shuzu, back to you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Vishnu, for moderating the Q&A. And at this point, I would like to thank everyone for taking time to join the session. And I would also like to express my gratitude to our speaker, Antonio, for his contributions. We have more sessions in the future. Please check the AI for Good program page for details. You can also interact with us and other participants on the Challenge Slack channel. We look forward to your future participation. Thank you for joining us today and have a nice day. See you next time.
Thank you for participating in today's AI for Good session. We hope you've learned something new, innovative, and engaging in today's event. We now encourage you to continue the conversation on the live video wall in the neural network. Here you can ask questions, like and comment, share links, complete the poll, connect with interesting profiles, or speak one-on-one using the chat and video function. We invite you to explore the lobby, try the smart matching quiz, visit the virtual exhibits, poster boards, the eShop, and build your personalized AI for Good program. Let's shape the future of AI for Good.
The AI for Good Global Summit, convened by ITU, recognizes the joint responsibility of governments, the private sector, United Nations agencies, academia, and others to ensure AI reaches its full potential while preventing and mitigating harms.
And it's a moment that calls for action. And today I'm calling on each of you to use this summit to help the world to better understand what kinds of regulations, what kinds of guardrails we need to put in place right now. So together, let's make it innovative, let's make it safe, and let's make it responsible for all. Thank you very much.